And I am alive. Hopefully, the sound is alright. I did a check just before that. It should work just fine. And here we are. We will talk about Bad Boys 1, 2, 3, and 4, the newest one. Um, I won't tell the title, the name, because YouTube hates that word, right? Anyway, um, I think I will be alone. However, we got Cole's opinion on all of these four movies. He did send me notes. I will read out once we get into it. And and this is the Red Blue Podcast bonus number 1 for season 5. We will have another bonus episode at some point this month. Actually, it's next Tuesday. So, yeah, next Tuesday, more 2024 movies to talk about. And now I will let the intro of season 10 appear right now because season 10, well, it will be the shortest season of the podcast. So I still want to use the the royalty free song I chose. Anyway, let the intro start here. And here we are back here. So we start with the first Bad Boys. Oh my, I feel not really prepared, but I am. Don't you worry about that. Um so yeah, we will talk about these juicy movies in a moment as I am getting my notes ready. Dame. Okay. Um, I enjoyed three of the four movies. There's one I really didn't like at all. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's start with Cole's opinion on the franchise, or I should say, on all of the four movies. So um, I'm looking into Cole's note right now. It will be ready in a sec. Bad Boys 1 hasn't aged too well. It's considered sort of a classic by some because of the name and the two leads, but it's poorly made and generic, not fun, just like many Michael Bay films to me. The acting isn't the best either. It's basically like what the first Fast and Furious film is like nowadays, but even worse. It isn't the worst thing ever, but it isn't something I'd rewatch ever again. And this is his opinion on the first Bad Boys movie. Um, he gave a 4 out of 10. And since I'm here right now, let's read out the second uh, comment he left me for the second movie. Closest to a good film in my favorite in the franchise. So that's Cole's favorite. It embraces itself and is intentionally silly and mocks a lot of dumb action flick with cliches. As many memorable lines and moments too. Great comedy and action, hilarious moments. Acting is good in its time around. Still a sloppy, poorly made film overall, and not all intentionally laughable, but it's the closest to something decent, to having its own style, and to being almost like a parody of ghetto buddy cop action flicks. 5 out of 10 for Cole. So, this is the second movie. As you can see, he is not really a big fan of that movie franchise thus far. And guess what? Well, not guess. He said it. That's his favorite movie in that franchise. Bad Boys 3. This is when they moved away from Michael Bay and brought in a director duo to do it. The same ones who did the Fort and Miss Marvel series. Oh, I didn't know that. That's surprising. That's interesting to know. I'm not saying it's good because the Miss Marvel series wasn't that great. But anyway, it's the worst of the franchise in my opinion. People liked it at the time and called it a decent, fun popcorn flick. Because this was right when they were opening up theaters again, along with the Invisible Men and Emma at the start of 2020. Actually, it was right before the lockdowns, I believe. So you're close by in that timeline, but I think you may be wrong on that detail. Anyway, with films such as Tenet and Unhinged and others coming out later, so people were starved for movies to watch in theaters and new releases. And with many of the film and theater being older released to fill the auditorium, so people praised it for what it was. Looking back on it, thought it's a mess. The actor phoned it in. The action sucks. The CGI sucked. The camera work sucked. It's bland with no title. The lighting is overexposed. It isn't fun or funny in the mood or guilty pleasure way. It's just a terrible mess and a forgettable experience. There's no point to this entire movie. Damn! Cole really hated that one, and Cole gave to that movie a 2 out of 10. Oh my. We gonna disagree on that. I like that movie a lot. Uh, wow. Cool. You hated that one, did you? Um, Next up, this is called Opinion on Bad Boys 4. An improvement from 3, but that isn't saying too much. The actor did a better job, and the lighting, camera work, etc., wasn't as terrible this time around. It improved in pretty much every area slightly, but not by much, and it's still a bad film to me, any forgettable experience. It's just lifeless with no characters still and unneeded. Gosh, Cole, he hates that movie franchise. They shouldn't have continued this franchise. The best part about this film was some of the comedy in it. It's actually made me laugh, but that's about it. And this film was supposed to release or be made like 1-2 years earlier, but then Will Smith pimp slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, so they shelved the production on it for a bit. LMFAO, AO, 3 out of 10 for Cole. So this was Cole. Opinion on that entire experience. Very different from mine, but very interesting nonetheless. So now I will ramble a bit more here as I try to find my review of the first one. So there we are officially. Now I will start talking about the first Bad Boys movie. I only got 2 issues with that one. Only 2. Not that many, right? My first issue with the first Bad Boys movie, people can't freaking aim in the big shootout in the apartment when Marcus saved the uh, streetwalkers from the thugs. Um, yeah, that's my first issue. That wasn't believable at all. Everything was blowing up. Nobody could freaking hit something. It's like, yeah, it's disgusting. People can't freaking aim in the other big shootout at the reception of the building where Mike lived. So this is by the end of the movie when they kind of rescue the streetwalker. I will keep her keep that nickname for her because YouTube doesn't really like other names or words. So yeah, a lot of street walking there. Now here's my deeper review, if we can call it that way. So I will start by saying great parallels between the two leads. One is a single rich guy living his best life, seeking for others' respect since he didn't earn his place in the police precinct. He's he is like the superhero type or whatever. Um, the other character is the other lead. He is married. He has earned his place in the police precinct. He is a normal day guy. Um, the next character would be the streetwalker, the girl, you know? She is being so oblivious to the risk she's in. It was entertaining. She is like the viewer insert into the movie. The story was also clever enough to turn the girl into leverage to villain could use her against the cops. So that was kind of cool. I like that twist. Um, yeah, the characters were kind of fun. Now, here are a few things to enjoy: the music, the characters, the robbery was well shown. How is Nauseous? Um, yeah, there's a lot of like showing instead of telling. That's amazing. I need more of that in my movies. The music and villain were cool. The girls were entertaining. Will Smith character Mike was really fun, and his sadness was endearing and well brought up throughout the movie. So the acting was on point, and I thought a lot of the humor did land, such as the reception sequence. Um, so yeah, the art of the movie is the action and really like the humor in it. I think this is the big strength the first movie has. Um, and the music and the car chases, all of the flashy stuff. I'm not that hard to please. Now I could go on, but I feel like I won't bring that much more. Um, so with that being said, let's let's just say my grade on that one, a 9.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Um, is it the best 9.5? No, it's just the average 9.5. For me, that's quite high. Um, a very fun movie. Highly recommend. And this is it for now for the Bad Boys #1 review. So let's review the second Bad Boys, the one I disliked the most. Wow, what did I watch? My, I really didn't like that one. I just repeat myself so much. Um, but that was a terrible one for start off, and the sad part is I cannot find my notes for some reason. Dame, um, that movie was horrendous. That's what I will start by saying. The biggest flaw and the biggest sin of that movie would be the humor. The humor was just terrible. I I I don't get it. I don't understand what they were trying to do with that one. Um, yeah, and I just realized I didn't mark down my notes on that one on Letterbox. Shocker. So the second Bad Boys is basically uh just a longer movie with other villains, and we get to see a Marcus that wants to retire or change town or no longer be on Mike's team because he feels like he's no longer in that place he was in before, and he thinks he wants to move on with life and such. So that's what's going on with Marcus during that movie. And I feel like that's a trope they will use a lot in that franchise because he has the same story in the third one. Shocker, I know. And now I just bought off enough time. Okay. Um yeah. Um that movie was painful for me because of the humor again. The humor is just it just didn't work for me, and I think I just realized what happened to my letterbox. I actually deleted by accident my review from it, or I misplaced it. I didn't place it in the right folder. Anyway, I found my notes. So yeah, they were doing a lot of jokes about bedroom fun. Not my kind of humor. It's actually terrible, and yeah, not that great. Um, Now, I will admit the action again was the highlight of this movie. Um, Mike and Marcus dynamic were solid. They were entertaining. And I don't have much to say about that movie because again I didn't really like it at all. And um another issue I have is the pacing. It had a really terrible pacing. Like awful. Like what were they thinking? Really, I'm genuinely wondering why 2 hour and a half? You don't need to be that long, movie. It doesn't feel justified whatsoever. Now, would I cut like an entire third act or something? Maybe not. I would cut a lot of it like throughout the movie, I think. This is how I would change it, I believe. Um but yeah. Um I I had a talk with Cole and he kinda redeemed the movie a bit for me, but just a little bit. And after he did redeem the movie, um I will say this movie for me is a 5 out of 10. I really don't like the second one. The pacing was bad and the humor was cringe fest. And when you want to be comedy, I think humor is important. And if all you have to offer is like bedroom fun humor, it's like no, I'm not buying into that. Anyway, that's it with this very messy part. Now, Bad Boys 3, the one where I disagree with Cole the most. Um, it's interesting because I have a very, very different experience in Cole. I really like that one. And I try to find my notes right now. There we go, I found my notes. Um, I'm shocked that's his least favorite. I'm really shocked. I only had 2 issues with that one. And that one, based on what I see right now, I would place it like right underneath the first one. And the first one was a 9.5 out of 10. So this one is not that far behind. Um, Now, here are my issues with Bad Boys for Life, the third movie. My first issue would be plot armor on Mike since bullets in his body didn't delete him. Yet, why didn't he get headshot? Whatever. Like in these movies, when they hire someone to delete an important character, if they want a character to live, he will live. And this is what happened. They shot with delete intent, but yet Mike survived. I like that trope so much. No, I don't. Um, they told instead of showing the deep undercover mission. So I feel like parts of the movie could have been dedicated toward that deep undercover mission where uh, Mike meets the mother of his son. That could have been interesting to see. I feel like it's only mentioned because they didn't really know how to show that kind of storytelling and that kind of storyline in the movie, or maybe they didn't show it for pacing purposes. Because the pacing in this movie was far better than the second one. I think in the entire franchise, the pacing is good. The only one that had bad pacing was the second one in my books. So these are my only two issues. Um, Show me, don't tell me. Um, so I will say that again, it's a rearch of the second movie, and that could be an issue. Some people may have, oh, but they told the same story. I get that. That wasn't really an issue for me because I thought here it was more entertaining. Maybe it's my bias because this one is far more recent than the other one. If you have been on the channel for a long time, you know how I feel about newer movies and how I feel about older movies. I have harder time enjoying older movies. So that's my bias. Um, Family and legacy as ideas in the movie were really cool. The action was really fun. And again, we had very nice parallels between Mike and Marcus. Mike wants to seek revenge, and Marcus wants to quit and live a peaceful life. Uh, Marcus is in the future, and Mike is in the past or the present, and this is very interesting. Um, there was a lot of humor throughout. Again, a lot of cool action, and yeah, just another very fun movie. Another issue I could see people having is like, oh, these new characters, there's too many of them. They don't really need to be there. And I could understand, but again, they didn't really bother me that much, these characters. That's why I didn't mention them in issues because they were like, oh, they were interesting. They were fun. Uh, the love interest this time around that becomes captain at the end, she is cool. She's entertaining. Um, yeah, it's sad to say, but I don't have a lot to say about that movie. And when we find out that Mike has a son, and because he didn't really raise his son, that son is becoming and he has turned into a criminal. It's interesting. It's good. So yeah, it's the consequence of growing up without a proper father figure. So this is more of a right now I will spread the word because I've seen that a lot on the internet. All of these single mothers that are proud and are like, that kid doesn't need a father. Kids do need their fathers, and in that movie, it's well shown because here's what happened when you spit on the other gender. Anyway, that was the very small tangent there. Anyway, I will give this Bad Boys for Life a 9.5 out of 10. So very different than Cole. Liked it a lot more. Uh, Maybe it's because it's more recent. Maybe, just maybe. Anyway, now I can only guess and assume that a lot of you are here for Ride or Die. Oh crap! I said the word I shouldn't have. So this is the most recent Bad Boys. I liked it a lot. I will go to say that it's my favorite in the franchise, but I do a review right now, and I did add a lot of issues with that movie, sadly. So I don't think it's the best movie in the franchise, but that was my favorite. So it's almost a case where I think it's a guilty pleasure, but again, I even there it's harsh because I don't think it's a bad movie either. It's far better than the second one, but it's not perfect. It has issues, and maybe it's not necessarily an issue right now, but I wanted to go see it again today, but I ended up choosing not to. And the reason is it's like I don't feel the need to rewatch it at the moment. I know in the future I will most likely rewatch it because there's a lot of stuff I liked and the action itself was great. So I do think there's rewatch value, but I'm in no urge. I don't want to see it again. And that's interesting because recently we had the Fall Guy. I went to see the Fall Guy 6 times in theaters in a month, and the only reason why I didn't go another time is because as of right now, my theater only has a movie in French. So I will next time I will watch it, I will watch it again in English because that's clearly the best version of it. Anyway, to go back on to Ride or Die, that was a banger. A movie I really liked. Is it perfect? No, by any means. So with that being said, let's get right into it. My first issue would be the big shootout in the bar. Nobody could aim. And I was wrapping my head around because I was like, maybe they didn't really want to delete them. No, they clearly wanted to delete them because eventually they even like spread out a bounty on Mike and Marcus, so the street go after them on top of the cops and such. So yeah, I feel like there's no proper way. Like it was a setup for sure. They wanted to frame Mike or Marcus, whatever, for the delete of the witness. That was a setup for sure. But I do think they also wanted to take them out. Like it's several birds with one rock or something like that. Uh Next issue would be plot armor, the boys surviving a copter crash. That was goddamn ridiculous. I swear. It goes crazy. The copters, it crashes. And they survive this shit. Do you think I'm stupid? Really? Do you think I'm that stupid? The other thing that really bothered me is in that same copter shenanigan, it was annoying because Will Smith at that point gained and earned super strength. It was able to hold on to a rope that was holding in the air a cage in steel with his son inside. Just the son. He is muscular. We have seen him. He is a very easy 200 pounds guy. The cage. Don't get me started. I suck at maths. I can bet, and I'm sure that steel cage is heavier than the sun. So now you're telling me a, let's say Mike is still very young in that movie. 45 to 50 years old character. Being able to hold on to a rope and a copter that's about to crash And that rope, it pulls a cage with the sun inside. He would have broke his arm. Hell, he would have fell with the cage outside of the helicopter. That moment, I rolled my eyes. I was like, I enjoyed the action. That's a fun movie, but this is brain stupid. This is not something I enjoy. Issue number 4. It doesn't make sense that the girl wouldn't earn the bounty herself since she did capture Mike and Marcus. It doesn't make sense that others would show up to collect when she captured them. Why sharing? Another stupid moment. That thing happened only because they wanted to keep them alive. Furthermore, why would your bounty be like dead or alive? You want them dead. You don't want them to have a chance of surviving and running away. But no, let's just suspend disbelief there. Nobody could aim in the big shootout at the end of the movie. Now, there are like 2 big action pieces in that movie that I really liked. The first one was amazing. And the first one was in the house with the son-in-law. And I feel like that was one of the best action sequence. And I'm jealous because people had guns. And the main character involved, or I should say the good guy involved in that shootout, it was cool. And it made sense that it would take these operative down that fast without a scratch. He didn't give them time to react. He just went in and boom, 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 you're down, you're down. That action sequence, I'm jealous as a writer that find it always very challenging to have firefights where my character involved don't die or get injured. It's one of the hardest thing. I always need to force a end-to-end combat to make sure people don't shoot each other to make it boring. Or like you need to always work around that. Okay, you got humans involved in that action sequence. They have guns and guns are deadly. So you need them to make it smart, make it make sense, right? Because if they cannot aim, that's stupid. Why would you give them guns if they cannot aim? But that action sequence in the house was just amazing. And now I'm already like into my likes because I've already mentioned my 5 dislikes. That big shootout at the end was great, one of the best sequence in the franchise, but people could not aim. So it takes away like some of the beauty of that big action sequence where they take down the villains. That was great. But people should be able to aim, you know. Anyway, these are my dislikes. Now I will say that's probably the second best villain, if not the best villain we got in that franchise. I thought the actor had charisma. The character was cool. It was like, yeah, I have these very nice line. I don't speak much, but I will take you down. I'm very smart. Everything is calculated. I get these vibes. The Sun action sequence and his redemption arc was great. Now, the Sun is about to sacrifice himself for the girl, and that was really cool. The humor was really fun. The acting was solid. The action and music were great. The story felt different since now the 2 leads are fugitive. The cast and characters were well made and entertaining. as the best action in the franchise, aka the final big shootout and the out shootout with the son-in-law. I swear I'm jealous of that first one. Um, I would go back in theater only to rewatch these amazing action sequence. Very cool to see Mike finally growing up and marrying a woman he likes. Marcus thinking he's invincible was a nice progress, and being brought back down to earth with the alligator and him turning into the stage was really cool. I thought that movie went full circle. I feel like if the franchise ends here, I'm satisfied. That movie franchise was fun. I liked it. Now, I could see a fifth movie happening where it's another revenge story, but instead it's the main character that goes into that journey, Mike. I could see him losing his wife, and the big relationship in the very end would be Mike and the captain ending up together in the very end of the fifth movie. But that's only if they do a fifth movie, and if they do, I hope the action will be even better than this one, because I do think this one was impressive. I had issues. There was a lot of stupid in it. That's why I think this one is the second worst Bad Boys. I stand by the fact that the second Bad Boys is worse than this, solely because of the freaking humor I hated. I could not stand this shit. So yeah, Ride or Be Deleted deserves for me 8.2 out of 10. This is the first time ever I give a 8.2. Usually it's 8 or 8.5. Now the reason why I gave a 8.2, it's because among all of the 8 I've given, I think this one is the best 8. That's why it's a 8.2. But because there's a lot of stupid in it, I feel like maybe in the future I will find a movie 8.3 or 8.4. Surprise me, movies. Surprise me. So yeah, that gets weird. So I'm done watching all of the Bad Boys movies we got so far, and here's my ranking as a reviewer. The best one was the first one with a 9.5, followed by the third one, For Life, with a 9.5. In third place, we got Ride or Be Deleted. As a reviewer, I do think it's my third best. Again, 8.2 out of 10. And the worst as a reviewer would be number 2 with a 5 out of 10, with really the humor and the pacing. Now, as a moviegoer, as a movie fan that enjoys watching stuff, my favorite is Ride or Die, followed by the third one, because I did like the third one more than the first one. And in third place, the first one. Lastly, we got the second one. As a moviegoer, that's actually the only Bad Boys I didn't like. So not only I think it's not a good movie, but I hated the experience. So these are my thoughts. I wished we had guests, but apparently nobody is free on Saturdays. I'm not really that surprised. Anyway, this shall be the end. Highly recommend Ride or Die. Go see it. Support this movie. I want this movie to succeed. I feel like I got a huge loss when I realized The Fall Guy flopped. I like this movie so much. And I'm worried when that kind of movie flops and it's a good movie, Hollywood will see, oh, there's no money there, so let's not make these. Ride or Die is a fun movie. You like action? Go see it in theater, please. You guys and girls, you need to go on your theater, support your theater, support the art, tell Hollywood what you like. Simple, right? If movies like Bad Boys make money, we will have more Bad Boys. So again, next weekend, probably next Friday, I will go see uh that movie again in theater because I want to support it again and because I liked it enough to go back. I will also most likely watch The Watchers. I plan on watching it this weekend, but maybe I won't have the time. Maybe tomorrow I will have the time because it's a quite short movie. Anyway, next Tuesday we got bonus number 2. And bonus number 2 will have 2024 movie. Atlas, I think Asphalt City. This one I'm not quite 100% sure. I know I've seen it, but I don't know when it will be on the planning. It's marked down somewhere. And there's a third 2024 movie. I can't believe I forgot. Challenger. Yes, Challenger. This will be a very, very fun talk. I enjoyed Challenger, one of the best movie we had this year. Anyway, we are done for tonight. Thank you for the viewer. Have a great day. Do all of the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe.